Steve Sill, club captain, joining us again on the roundup. Now, we're going to do it slightly different going into the last weekend, which we'll explain in a minute. But before we do that, looking at scorecards from last Saturday, Silky, and you were back out there playing.
Yep, I certainly was. Thoroughly enjoyable. I've missed it for the last 12 games, which was disappointing because I started well this season. I was really up for it and felt good personally. Scored some runs early doors, which was nice. So yeah, hugely disappointing to have missed the bulk of the season. But it was good to be out there last Saturday, and it was just disappointing again that I felt very good in, whilst my ball strike rate might not suggest that. I don't think I played a full shot within the knock, and actually when I wanted to get going, I then got out. So that was disappointing. But yeah, look forward to this Saturday. It's a huge game, and yeah, hopefully we score some runs then.
Yeah, talk about this Saturday. So again, it's slightly different for our weekend roundup in that rather than looking back, we're going to be looking ahead to the final game and speaking to each of the 6 captains to kind of understand what situation each team finds themselves in and going into on Saturday. So I guess just getting a general thoughts from you as club captain of the weekend that is ahead and the importance of it, really.
Yeah, look, it will always be nice to finish the season on a positive. Again, we're going to have 6 teams out. It's been interesting selection this week. A lot of people available. So, I don't think anything makes me more proud as being club captain is looking at how we've got 6 teams out, pretty much every single week of the season. So it is a big season. It is a big weekend. You want to finish well. You want to finish strong. You want to take some positives into the winter. It's a long winter where we watch all the other winter sports. We want people to remember cricket in a really good way. So, a bit of a barbecue and stuff again for across the teams, following on from the Beer and Cider Festival last weekend, which was a huge success. To make it a real good final weekend for everybody. But a lot to play for a few of the teams. And
we'll talk about the weekend. We should just explain, given the pyramid structure that we find ourselves in with Whipple and Wiltshire, it's not always as straightforward as looking at league positions and seeing that 2 go down, 2 go up, 1 go up. It could all change after the games have even finished on Saturday, couldn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those that it would be really nice sometimes if it is 2 up and 2 down. But as we know, working within a pyramid that, and working across 3 counties but 4 sets of leagues, there's so many different permutations depending upon what happens at the very top. So, our 2s to 6s who sit within one of those feeder leagues going into Whipple, depending upon whether you finish in the past, it's been 8th, 9th or 10th. Whether you finish 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th in some cases, you could end up going up divisions or down divisions, after the final game of the season. So we have had a message from the Wiltshire County Cricket League to say that people won't properly know until November, which is, hugely disappointing. But I think if we know, if we get the performances out there on Saturday that we want, then we should know that we're going to be safe and secure, or going up in certain divisions. So yeah, all to play for this final weekend.
Now, in terms of a summary of the season, obviously it'd be remiss of us to do a full summary until after Saturday's games, because that will decide how positive or negative the season might be seen. But as club captain going into that final game, what are your thoughts on the season so far, should we say?
It's a good question. My feelings on the season so far, it's been a challenging one for many different reasons, a hugely successful one in other parts. If we look at the number of juniors that have come through and have cemented places across teams, juniors getting better year on year and going up teams, some people coming back to the club. For me over the last month, it's been wonderful to see Frankie Vaz back playing in the thirds, exceptional cricketer. So Paul Clifford back at the club as well. It's people like that. So there's been real big positives. Running a club with 6 Saturday teams is always going to be a challenge. If you have unavailability or dropouts at the top of those teams, then that obviously has a knock-on effect down through all of them, and therefore actually the work, and really should go on record of the work that Chris Barrow, Pete Lakeland, Dean Lysett, Josh Grant do in terms of looking after the 4th, 5th and 6th. Quite often they're not messed around, it's the wrong word, but you know what I mean, in terms of having to deal with things late on in the week. And actually, people can look at a captain and think that their role is to go to selection on a Monday, stick the teams out, and everything's nice and hunky-dory come a Saturday. But if I showed you my inbox of messages that has come in today on a Thursday before the Saturday, and we still haven't put our teams out, these guys are working every single day, every evening on selection. So a huge shout out to me from me, sorry, to all the captains who do so much great work during the week, which is unseen.
Ralphie, first team captain, good to have you with us again. And we're going to look ahead to the final game in a minute. Before we do that, briefly touch on last Saturday in the game and some runs for Ollie Price again.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie's been great for us all year, really. He's been showing everyone kind of the standards that he kind of sets and expects a little bit. And on Saturday he tried to bat through and get as close to the total as possible. But obviously, as a team, we quite kind of just fell short in the end. We probably gave them a bit too many in the field and with the ball, so we were always kind of climbing uphill battle. But yeah, Pricey as always has been excellent for us. Yeah.
So going into Saturday, last game of the season, like we're saying, what's been a really competitive sort of Prem 1 season. What situation does the first team find itself in?
Frustratingly, we're kind of in a similar situation to last year in that we probably really need to win the last game to ensure safety. So we're against Thornbury, who are, I think they're about 8 points behind us or so. So in theory, if they beat us, they'll leapfrog us. And then we'll be relying on Taunton and Andrews to do us a favour by beating Lansdowne. So if Lansdowne lose, we're kind of in the clear. But to kind of keep it safe and in our own hands, if we win, then we're safe.
Okay, and there's been some great performances for the season, some brilliant wins as well. Is there any kind of final message for the team going into that game, Ralph?
I think we've just got to go out and play the way we know we can, really. We've had a frustrating few weeks before this, and it's about just putting those aside and taking this as a one-off game and just putting everything into it, putting everything on the line and in the field, making sure we're throwing ourselves into it and just doing everything possible we can to get a result, really.
Will Cousin, second team captain, joining us again on the roundup. And Will, we are looking ahead to the final game of the season. So where do the second team find themselves in? What situation are they in going into that last game?
We find ourselves in a bit of a position, Wardy, to be honest. We're second from bottom in the relegation zone. So we've got a tough weekend ahead.
And what is the game on Saturday, Will? Is it a big game, a crunch game, with you being in that zone at the minute?
Absolutely. It's against Keln, who are third from bottom and only 4 points ahead of us. So it's a bit of a winner-takes-all situation. Some might say a cup final, as we've used in recent weeks. But yeah, winner takes all. Winner stays up, loser goes down. Well, anything but a win is not good enough for us.
And how are you feeling? How are the team feeling going into that game, Will? Confident?
I mean, we've had some difficult selection decisions to make this week. Some very difficult ones, actually. People that have performed, that have possibly finding themselves dropping down a team. So in some respects, I think we're quite strong. We got James King back from injury, which is only a boost for us. Can't wait for the return of Prince William. Yeah, although he might not be looking forward to it. Chucked in at the deep end, opening the bowling first game back. But no, we're in a strong position. We've, as I said, we've had some difficult decisions to make, and I think we couldn't really go into it too much stronger than we are.
And looking at the season as a whole, it's been a challenging season for the two. Some great wins in there, but also some challenging sort of times throughout the season. You got any final message going into Saturday for the team, Will?
Firstly, if we do what we do well, we'll win. So just good luck and be positive.
Great. And like you said, strong team out on Saturday puts us in the best position.
Winners' beers will feel good on Saturday evening.
So Matt Cole, third team captain, thank you for joining us on the roundup. And as we're doing with all captains this week, we're going to look ahead to the game on Saturday. But before we do, we should make note of, and we should have done this a few times on the roundup, but it's never quite worked out, an individual performance for yourself last Saturday with 4 wickets?
Yes, it was. Well, firstly, it's a pleasure to finally be on one of these. I know we spent weeks trying to organise it during the course of the season. It's never quite worked out. But yes, a nice performance at the weekend in some ways, a bit flattering on the scorecard in other ways. Would not at any point say that was the best bowler in that team on that day. I think everyone else, Kiran, Dan, opened up really well. Rob in middle overs kept some kind of sanity going whilst we were being sent all over the park. And then Steve at the end taking 3 crucial wickets and did not deserve to be hit at 9 and over at any point in that process either. So I think actually it was a team effort and that mine rather flatters given the circumstances that we're playing in and the opponents we had on the day and the one individual who hit us miles on the day.
So Saturday, last weekend, last game. Explain to us where the third team find themselves.
Yeah, so we're currently in 8th place. So we're out of the relegation zone, which we never really dipped into at any point, which is a real positive. We've got a 34, 35 point buffer between ourselves and the relegation spaces. So in theory, we are now safe. I'd like us to ensure that this weekend, obviously, because with the likes of Beckington and their unknown situation and with the Whipple unknown situation, if we can get ourselves into 7th, then that would make me a much more comfortable and happier captain.
And what is the game? Where do you find yourself this weekend? Where are the thirds playing?
So we're at home against bottom of the league Swindon. So there is an expectation that we win that game and fulfil all of my previous requirements, which would be nice.
And any going into that last game, Matt, I'm sure you're proud of your team throughout the season. Any final message for everyone that's going to be turning out on Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. You are right. Very proud of the team all throughout the season, the way they've bounced back each game and come back and fought really hard. And I think this weekend, given that the hard work has been put in the main, I want everyone to go and enjoy the game. More importantly, this week, we obviously want to win, but we've fought really, really hard this season, and we've not really allowed ourselves to go out and just play with freedom or enjoyment for most of the year because we've been in that bottom half of the table. So this week I want everyone to kind of go out there, express themselves, have a lot of fun, enjoy it, and make it an end of season game to remember.
Pete Lakeland, 4th team captain. Good to have you.
Morning.
The roundup.
Yeah.
What we're doing with all captains is looking ahead to the last Saturday, last fixture, last league game. So where did the 4th team find themselves, Pete, in the league? What's the situation?
Oh, yeah. Morning, Mordy. Heading into the last game of the season, we sit 3rd in Division 6. Unfortunately, we lost last week against Swindon Nowgo, which was our opportunity to grab 2nd from them. This week, we've got Shrivenham. Need a win to make absolutely sure of finishing 3rd, which may or may not be good enough to go up. And we'll see. A little bit frustrating that we finished 3rd as well last season. So hopefully we won't do any lower than that. But we need a good performance tomorrow to make sure we hang on to 3rd, playing Shrivenham.
And in terms of Saturday, good team out, Pete, confident?
Yeah, really pleased with the team. Good to have a few people back. Plenty of youngsters in there, lots of enthusiasm. Some really good bowling. Should be strong fielding. And the batting's looking all right as well.
Good to hear. And going into the last game then, Pete, any final message for the team going into Saturday?
Yeah, I think everybody's playing in a good position, good competitive game. Enjoy it. It's the last one for whatever it'll be, 8 or 9 months. Go out on a high. Give it everything.
Chris Barrow, 5th team captain and clubman extraordinaire with everything else, all the other caps that you wear, Chris. We're going to chat about the weekend coming up. But before we do that, just looking back to last weekend and another great batting performance from Ian Lycett with 93 runs.
Yeah, no, excellent performance. I think he's been lacking over the times he's played, apart from a couple of times, but compared to last season. But this season he really stepped up to the plate, which was excellent. And yeah, so good to have him back. Hopefully it'll be the same. Hopefully it'll be the same this weekend. But also just a little shout out for Dan Flynn, who some people won't necessarily know. Great leg spinner. I knew on AstroTurf that would be a struggle. The bowling, but batting, he really did step up to the plate. He's got some runs. He got a 50 earlier on in the season for the sixes, and he stepped up batting really, really well in support of Ian, and then later on, can't remember who else, but a supportive role. I think he got 35, something like that. So he's definitely one to watch in the future. So shout out for him too. Yeah, and we've lost the last two games, but we've lost the last two games to each time one batsman. So 2 weeks ago we lost to 175 not out, one batsman. This week to 115 not out. You can't do a lot about that, but it's just luck of the draw, really. Yeah.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Good to hear. Now, looking ahead to this last weekend, so as we are doing with all captains, what is the situation that the fifth team finds itself in terms of the league position?
Well, we're currently 3 off the bottom, which is not really where I want to be. However, we're only 4 points behind Corsham going into the last game. They've been losing a lot of games recently. Unfortunately, they're playing Spy Park, who are bottom, and will definitely stay bottom. We're playing Potton 4, who I think are fourth, and have been getting stronger and stronger all season. So we've got the tougher of those two games. But if we can get the win, then we can just get ourselves where I wanted us to be, sort of mid-table, a little bit below mid-table, to finish the season. So tough game. There's a lot of people available this week, so hopefully we'll get a good side out. Still, I don't know finally what the side's going to be, but hopefully we'll get a good side out and get a good result. And then what I'd like to see is everybody coming back to the club, having a burger, joining in with an end of season celebration with the ones and twos and everybody else. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely, always a great way to finish the season. So going into that last game, and like you said, a challenging game against Potton Forbes. Any final message for the team going into their final game of the season, Chris?
Same as I say, and we all agree every game. Work hard, fight hard, back up in the field, enjoy the fielding, enjoy the whole game. It's the fives I've always said all the way through when I've talked to you a couple of times is a development side. We want the youngsters to do well and go up, which they have done. But work hard for the team. Whoever's in the team, we have good fun, and try and secure your place for the first game of the next season. But enjoy it.
Josh Grant, sixth team captain. Thank you for joining us. So Josh, we've been looking ahead to this Saturday with it being the final game. So can you just give us a bit of an explanation about where the sixth team find themselves in the league going into that last game?
Well, we're sort of near bottom of the table, so we're kind of fighting to stay instead of being at bottom. We want to be sort of mid-table. It's not really. We're not going to go up. We're not going to go. We can't go down. So we're safe as we are. But it would always be good to go out on a winning terms. You don't really want to go out having lost our last game. We really want to go out and hopefully win on Saturday.
Fantastic. And what is the game that you will be playing on Saturday? Josh, who's the opposition? Where do you find yourself?
We are playing against Barford Seconds, who, from what we've heard, are quite strong. We haven't played them in a while. I think the last time we went to play our game got called off due to rain, which was a bit of a shame. But I've heard they are a strong team, and it's going to be a tough game, but I think we can do it.
Great stuff. And just going into that game, with it being the last one of the season before everyone packs their kit away for a little while, have you got any final message for the team going into Saturday?
Just basically, as they've been all season, the attitude has been brilliant. Keep the same positive attitude that we've all had. Go out there, just do what I know you can do. Play the best you can, which you do every week.